Now, our cultures can also be proactive or reactive. And again, the reactive side usually happens by default. Also happens when we're under pressure, when our funnels maybe start to look a little skinny. Yeah, that's when the reactive stuff starts to come out because we start to feel under pressure, under stress. So proactive cultures, leaders seek clarity. Feels good. Clarity. Love it. It's also tough because we have to ask questions, right? Sandler rule takes 3 or more questions to get to the truth. So a seller comes to us and goes, boss, operations dropped the ball. Shipping didn't get the thing out on time. Implementation team screwed up the implementation. And we say, great, help me understand, tell me more about that. How did that happen? And then we go and we seek clarity with the other side, who is also involved in a genuinely curious way. For those of you who are more D-dominant, we've talked a lot about DISC today. So I am DCI, and I'm fairly active, I'm fairly direct. I think most of you have picked that up already. And I have had to start adding in, Harmon, I'm genuinely curious to know what you have to say. I'm not seeking a specific answer. Because our buyers have been trained that sellers are trying to push them in a certain direction, and unfortunately, when we were in a frontline role, and our team members have been trained that their leaders are typically trying to push them into some kind of an outcome or have a gotcha moment. And when we're seeking clarity, sometimes we do need to add in, I'm genuinely interested in what you have to say. I'm not looking for a specific outcome. I say that as I'm agnostic to the outcome, which in my world means I don't care what you say. Just say something, because I'm curious. Now, shockingly, in a reactive culture, leaders make assumption, right? Boss, operations dropped the ball, they screwed up. That leader goes and makes an assumption, which turns into a story, which instead of going and clarifying, they go act out on the group that our seller is blaming for their mistake. So again, are we approving their behavior of blame implicitly or explicitly? In this case, we are. So by the way, does that leader go out and talk through that story on their peer in that other department? Of course not. They go find someone closer to the front line who they feel that it's okay for them to go beat up a little bit. And then they act out that story. And by the way, now the cycle continues, because now that person is not going to feel comfortable to share what really happened. Maybe, and I'm sure this has never happened before, that the seller didn't give them all the right information they needed to implement correctly. Right? It's never happened, right, Enrique? It's never happened in any sales world. So choose by default or by design. I would much rather be in a proactive culture and have a proactive mindset with all of my sellers. In proactive cultures, leaders hold their sellers accountable to following the selling system. As David Sandler said, you must use a system for sales.